Welcome, angry faithful, to the Friday What the Hell, where me and Bill talk about weird stuff that we found on the internet about politics. Yes, that's right, people. We're not going for a political podcast, but Bill just brings up all politics stuff because that's the only thing he cares about. Now,
Is there anything else to life?
what do you mean?
Politics. I mean, what else is there?
Oh, yeah, there's soccer.
Oh shit. Ooh, there's football.
No, it's soccer, and that's the first thing we're going to talk about right now. And apparently, Europeans got a good taste of freedom when they came by to watch the FIFA games. So much so that what is it? What's the ranch company?
Hidden Valley Ranch.
What are they doing, Bill?
Well, people are going so nuts over it that they're trying to take it home, and they get to the TSA lines, and they're like, the 3.8 ounce liquid rule. So they're standing there chugging it. They don't want to waste it. And here's a few things. It says fans have resorted to frantically chugging it before passing through the checkpoint. Because of this, TSA has stepped in to handle the situation in a few specific ways. Oh, come on. You're supposed to say, what are those ways, Bill?
What are those ways, Bill?
Issuing lighthearted warnings, the TSA has posted playful reminders on social media such as Instagram and Threads, warning fans to leave oversized bottles out of their carry-ons and asking travelers to avoid chugging your ranch outside security. They're enforcing the liquid rules, reminding travelers that because ranch is a sauce, it's subject to the strict 311 liquids rule of 3.4 ounces. I think I said 3.8. Recommended alternatives instead of chugging or trying to carry on massive bottles. The TSA and American fans have been has advised tourists to purchase ranch seasoning packets to take home, which can easily bypass liquid restrictions. And this is the latest that I just heard a few minutes ago. Industry collaboration. Food brands like Kraft have stepped up to work on developing a TSA-friendly ranch packet kit. And one of the and also Hidden Valley Ranch announced they were going to come out with a 3.4 ounce bottle of ranch so they could put it in their carry-ons.
They already have like packets of ranch. It's nothing new.
Right, but they're coming out. I think it's a marketing gimmick or a joke, but they actually said that they're going to come out with 3.4 ounce TSA approved liquid size bottles of ranch.
That's funny. You know what's really funny though? Have you looked at you don't listen to soccer, you don't look at all the sports and everything like that. But here's the funny thing about the whole FIFA thing. If England and the United States go to the playoffs, they're going to play in Philadelphia.
No, I know that sounded funny. The guy made a real funny joke about it, but something because of their divisions or something, the US, one of them could end up playing in Philadelphia, but it would be impossible for the others. So both of them can't play there. That was a funny video. And when I saw that, I went, can that happen? And it said, no, it's impossible the way, but that's a bummer. That's a bummer that it can't. That would be just so hilarious.
You know, if they really wanted to make some money, what they could have done, could do is just have a mock up to where it's just those teams playing on July 4th in Philadelphia.
Do you have the video of the guy talking about it?
No, because I didn't think it was really. Well, I might have it. Hold on, let me look at my nerd sports stuff.
It's funny. Like I said, I saw this. Here, I got it. I saw this, and then I went, "Can that happen?" And then when I looked it up, you can't. But the guy is funny, making the point.
Yeah.
Right, this is getting personal now, because England versus the USA on July 4th was bad enough. America's Independence Day, their 250th birthday. Fine. A bit awkward, but it gets worse. Because what do you mean I've just discovered this game could be played in Philadelphia? Philadelphia. At this point, I don't think FIFA are scheduling matches. I think they're writing a comedy. Because there are over 300 cities in America, and they chose Philadelphia. That's like scheduling a divorce hearing in the restaurant where the affair started. Why are you taking us back there? Don't take us back to where you broke our hearts. Honestly, if they'd have picked Miami, fine. Los Angeles, fair enough. Philadelphia? This symbolism is getting ridiculous. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised at this point that when England turn up, every road sign will say, "Remember 1776?" In fact, I'm worried now. What other surprises have they got planned? Is the referee going to walk out with a Declaration of Independence? Are all the USA players going to walk out with bald eagles on their shoulders? Is the stadium announcer going to start every sentence with, "On this day 250 years ago"? I don't think this is a soccer game anymore. We've been invited to a reenactment. We're historical props. I've seen less foreshadowing in Hollywood films. The Americans don't even need to trash talk us. The itinerary is already doing it. At this point, just rename it. 1776, the rematch. Are the England players going to have to walk past a museum exhibit before kickoff? On your left, you'll see several decisions that aged extremely well for the Americans. Listen, if England lose to the USA in Philadelphia on July 4th, I don't think that's a defeat. I think that's America accidentally discovering time travel and deciding to run the simulation back one more time.
That is hilarious. That is super hilarious.
You hadn't seen that? That's not one you had seen?
That's the video I've seen. Yeah, I thought I saved it somewhere, but I didn't. But thank you, Bill, for showing that. But yeah, it's. I mean, we've got Japanese people going to Whataburger. People are taking photos like Buc-ee's. They're going into like HEB
and Costco, blowing their minds.
Yeah, this is what capitalism is, like full blown capitalism.
And I've been right across to the Walmart that's right across the street from the stadium in Arlington. I know they're getting some hell of a lot of business.
But yeah. Someone in the comments being stupid. You guys lost the war against Iran. No, we won. Oh, he doesn't know everything. That's cute. He's an idiot. That $300 billion is investment firms from the Middle East. The actual Middle East, like Qatar, Jordan, UAE, are helping Iran be a better part of the world. You, sir, are just reading headlines and listening to fake news. Thank you very much for playing. If you have anything, you want to go ahead and leave right out that door that just came in, don't let it slam it in the ass. Take it easy. Goodbye.
Well, you know, everyone's going, "Oh, it's a bad deal. Oh, it's a bad deal." But you know, he signed it in Versailles with Macron. Macron is tweeting out how it's an awesome deal, and then Caitlin Collins tried to really get Carney to slam the deal. But you know, when you've got the media over here slamming it, and some conservatives and all liberals slamming it, but then you go, what is a world leader actually saying who actually saw it?
What is your assessment of this preliminary agreement between Iran and the U.S.?
Well, I came in with that as the number one topic. I have to say it's exceeded my expectations. We're very pleased with the deal that's been struck. It sets the groundwork to ensure Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. It sets the groundwork for a reintegration over time of the economies in the region. It sets the groundwork for a solution in Lebanon, which we discussed today. So it's positive. Of course, it has to be followed through. It has to be implemented. And I think one of the things is the president helped create that deal, led creating that deal. The rest of the G7 and the broader community needs to help implement it.
Did you actually see the agreement itself?
I've seen the agreement. Yes.
Oh, so the president showed it to you.
Well, I've seen the agreement. We have our sources, just like you.
Okay. Well, we haven't seen it publicly. It hasn't been released. Is it true? It's about a page and a half.
It is a reasonable length for an agreement, which is in effect, it is a cessation of hostilities. It's a ceasefire for that 60-day period, as you know, but it sets out a series of conditions and what will happen when they are fulfilled. So I think it's well structured from our perspective, but I think as well is the regional countries are behind it. Of course, we met with the UAE, with the Qataris, the Egyptians. We have contacts as well, and again, it's well structured. It creates. I actually think, I think it's a game changer, not just for this situation, because it starts to take off certainly this issue, but it allows us, and this is what's happened in the meeting, to step back, look anew at Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ukraine situation. We had a very, very constructive conversation around Ukraine.
I want to ask you about Ukraine,
but
on this MOU itself, because the administration has not released the text of it. Is there anything surprising in it?
Anything surprising? Look, I think we all went through weeks and weeks where it seemed close to having a deal, but there wasn't a deal. So is the surprise that there's actually a deal? Maybe you could put it that way, but having the deal and then getting behind it, that's what's crucial. And you heard everyone in that room last night through to today getting behind it and the possibilities that are created by it.
Well, and the president says he thinks this next 60-day period will actually be easier to negotiate than getting to this preliminary agreement. But of course, this period is going to deal with the big stuff. I mean, nuclear being the number one issue, the enriched uranium. Do you think it's going to be easier?
I think the way it's structured, it says what has to happen. So, for example, Iran will not develop or procure a nuclear weapon. And then there's follow-on implications of that for what to do with the uranium. So in that regard, the Rubicon, if I can use that metaphor, has been crossed. And when we went into this situation, the world went into this situation, the big risk, the big destabilizing force was Iran. It's been that way for decades. And the core issue was them never being able to have a nuclear weapon. That's at the heart of the deal. So it becomes, what's the timeline for dealing with the enriched uranium? How much is blended? How much is surrendered? And worked out from there. But agreeing to the core, I think is critical.
And what?
Yeah. So that person that was magically removed. Yeah.
And you can see that.
I'll ban rage baiters because they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, and that's you recognize her. That's Caitlin Collins, the one that he loves to go ahead and let her ask questions during all press conferences so that he can slam her as fake news. She's the one that attacks him. And Carney, up until recently when he started kissing Trump's ass, has been just slamming Trump right and left. And now it's all, yeah, we're going to do. And for him to come out and make those statements, and then if you actually read what the world leaders are saying, if you look at their comments, their tweets, X posts, you'll see that they're all behind it. So there's more going on that Trump has probably said, okay, here it is. Here's what we're going to do over the next 60 days. That's what they probably know and why they're so eager behind it. We don't know.
My only thing right now is, I mean, yes, the strait's open right now, but the only reason why it's not having a lot of ships go through there as much as possible is not because of the signing or anything. What about the insurance companies? Are they going to insure the ships again?
Well, yeah, they're going to insure the ships, but there's other issues, and I hadn't thought about this one. Barnacles.
Yeah.
Because these ships have been sitting around, and they can't just full steam go ahead out. Some of them have to be cleaned up. It's like during the virus, it was real interesting to watch the cruise ships. To go to the ship thing where you can see the ships around the world and filter it out and watch cruise ships, because even during all that time of the virus, they had to keep moving. They
Yeah.
had to keep moving, or you'd get the barnacles crusted on them and all kinds of other garbage. So that's one of the things that's the gears are starting to turn, but that's one of the reasons where they're not going to turn right away. Now the price of gas, we went out of town, a family member's funeral, and gas was it was, what was it? We saw one that was $3.18 a gallon now.
Really? I've stuff in town's only like 325 right now, but that's the lowest I've heard of.
Decatur, it was $3.18.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why, but Decatur's always that cheap.
Well, not necessarily, because we go past there all the time, and I watch that Quick Trip, and I've always thought, oh, that Quick Trip in Decatur is going to be cheap, and it's like, what? But even that was down.
Yeah.
And ours dropped over the last couple of days. I think ours dropped 15-20 cents.
What was it? No, it didn't. It dropped a lot.
No, over just the last 2 days, from Wednesday when we left for the Metroplex to late Thursday coming back. So just within a little over a 24-hour time.
Okay. That, yes, but the start of the week, it was no, last Friday it was 365, and you came in on the weekend on that Friday, it was 345, and then you came in on Wednesday, it was 325. So it's been dropping heavily. I suspect probably around about mid-July, we'll finally get back to where it's regular, unless something stupid happens, which it could. From what I understand right now, there might be a hurricane down in the Houston area. So,
well, I haven't dug deeply into exactly what's going on, but here's what gives me a little bit of takes me back a little bit is it's dropping fast. They say the oil companies were kind of ripping us off all along.
yeah.
Why would it drop so fast now when you see that price for a barrel of oil? They already have paid for the contracts for about 6 weeks out. So for the next 6 weeks, that previous price you saw is the cost of oil that's going to be going into the refinery.
Okay. This is from December 19th of 2025. It was $56.52 dollars a barrel, and right now it's set to 75. It really didn't hit that big. I mean, lots of companies hit their prices went up a lot, but the price of oil only went up to like 111, and that was April 2026.
And they were expecting 150, 200.
Oh yeah, they're expecting big money stuff, but got it within like the 6 month time for. Well, not even. Was it 6 months? See, February, March, April, May, June, 5 months ish. Yeah, 5 months. It was 5 months because he did it like in because he did it in March 6th, the day the straight was bottomed out. Then it just straight up to like 90, 94 a barrel. But yeah, in all reality, you're right, because a lot of the oil companies were using is to bump up the gas prices, which we didn't need to bump up the gas prices in the United States because we weren't losing any money. I mean, we were losing money on like armaments and whatnot, but in all reality, we right now we're the was it like I think 25 to 35% of oil right now is being sold by the United States.
Yeah, but oil is more complex when you talk about turning it into regular fuel, because you got to look at what our refineries are capable of. That's why we have to import. That's why we have to import oil.
No, okay. This is where I'm going to stop you right there. You don't make money off of oil. In all reality, you don't make money off of oil. What you make money off of is refining the money. That's the reason why you got Sunco. That was the what was it, Rockefellers or Vanderbilt? I think it's Rockefellers. Rockefellers with more energy. Rockefellers, that's what they did up in the north. They made oil refineries, like lots of oil refineries. They didn't really drill for oil. They did a little bit, but in all reality, they refined oil. And after a while, they were considered a monopoly, so they had to be broken apart. Now, right now, all of our oil refineries does hard oil, the dirty oil. Okay. We don't have sweet oils, which we actually produce. I had to do a little bit of research just so I could I memorized all that because someone asked me about that. And I was generally curious. We don't, all of our refineries changes out Venezuela oil, which is hard oil, Alberta
Heavy
oil.
crude.
Yeah, heavy crude. It's heavy crude. What usually happens, and this is really the strange thing. What we end up doing is we sell our sweet oil, the easy oil to make. We sell that for the heavy. Basically, it's a trade for trade. It costs more to refine the heavy crude oil, and we make more money selling it that way. That's the whole oil process. That it baffled my mind. If we get more of the sweet oil, sweet crude, if we get refineries that can change that up, we could do our own oil, and we don't have to worry about any of other countries. Well,
We still use the sweet crude. They blend it.
yeah, they do.
And
they-
if you
No.
transport it through a pipeline, it has to be blended. You can't take the heavy crude and just send it through a pipeline. They actually have to blend it.
Yeah, they have to blend it. But here's another stupid thing that happened. And if you believe that California isn't corrupt, guess what they voted on for their election? They had a vote on there. Hey, do you mind us raising up the sales tax to 10%? Who votes yes on that? Bill, have you ever voted a tax increase and said, yeah, you know what? We can give a little bit extra money? No rightful mind does. But apparently it passed. It was supposed to, the only way for it to pass was through the voters, and it passed somehow.
How did they word it?
It wasn't worded. They rigged it.
They didn't put some little trickery wording in?
No, they just rigged it. People in California, they knew for decades how rigged it was, but that's like the pivotal of how I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. And another thing that's really strange about California and reason why their gas prices are so high. One, they have we already talked about it, was a 45% tax increase on their gas prices. But they only import gas. They don't export gas. Well, they export gas and they import all the gas, which they could have made their own. They don't have any refineries anymore. So, yeah.
Oh, their price of gas was already going to shoot up $2 to $3 a gallon by a couple of months ago anyway. Regardless what Trump had done with the war, that just gave him something to blame. But it was already going to go up after the Valero refinery closed in April. That was one of their largest refineries. Their pipeline shut down last. One of their main pipelines shut down last December. They didn't have any way to get oil to the refineries.
Yeah.
And yeah, the people go, well, we couldn't use that oil anyway. Well, yeah, because you do import the sweet crude and you blend it, so your refineries were using it. They just had to blend it with other oil that was imported. But now they have to import fuel from Asia or from the Gulf, going through the Panama Canal. So people look at, well, why is the price of gas going? Look at the transport cost. Look at the transport cost.
You're popular.
I'm not sure what that means.
Okay. Anyways, you're saying about the transport cost. Yes, the diesel per transport cost is really weird.
Yeah, and at least when I looked into it a few months ago, they couldn't even run the ships fully loaded through the Panama Canal because of the water level was low. So they partially empty tankers going through the Panama Canal, which increases the cost that much more. Plus, you look at the carbon footprint of, ooh, we're so environmentally friendly, we've shut our refineries down. Well, how much is the carbon output of a tanker going halfway around the damn world?
Yeah.
Basically, they're exporting their carbon.
Well, okay. And we've talked about this a lot, how we'd rather have other countries destroy their country to get our stuff. So, yeah.
It's the not in my backyard thing.
Yeah. As long as it's not in my backyard, we don't care. I mean, look at the cobalt or at most of the mining done around the world for us. And we're literally the pandemic, or we'll say the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh no, we're gonna have to say it because we're gonna talk about Tulsi Gabbard here in a little bit. So,
my gosh, she uses the C word in her video,
lot.
doesn't she?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had something come up. I gotta close that out. Anyways, but yeah, it's ridiculous that as long as it's out of sight and out of mind. Oh, that's awesome. You have a fan. But
I have a feeling I have a troll.
You probably do. Anyways, go ahead and roll that footage of Tulsi Gabbard. Or do I have to do it?
No,
There
I
we
got
go.
it.
Okay.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume three key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to Big Pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available. Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony. Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation. The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
What was the full document of everybody's gone
For
through
the
it?
COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National
A lot of people went over that document so far, and they're finding all kinds of weird stuff. And it's kind of sad. You know the person that made the Mars vaccine that actually headed it up? The person that actually headed up the Mars Can't say it right. The vaccine. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they almost, because he was on Spotify at the time, they were saying all kinds of horrible things and trying to get Joe Rogan canceled. And yeah, what's funny about that whole thing is the guy that made the Mars vaccine, MHR vaccine, was literally saying XYZ is a problem. What was it? What's that? It wasn't Johnson and Johnson. What's the PH one? The pharmaceutical Pfizer. They just came out with all the hey, because you took the vaccine, these are the harmful things that are going to happen to you. They just did that today. I am so glad because, okay, with my limited intelligence, by the way, I'm fucking stupid, but I love to read stuff. And when I read that, because they had a document that was like, hey, this is what the vaccine is going to do. They didn't really call it the vaccine until someone said it was a vaccine. They gave it a name. It was literally a protein. It added protein and beefed up your protein so you wouldn't have the symptoms that much. I was like, oh, that's not a vaccine. That's understandable. I understand that. But if you said that Reddit during that time frame and placate, hey, this is the actual data from the pharmaceutical companies, which you couldn't find after I wish I printed it out, because I went back because I was going to talk about it. So I went back and tried to reread it and everything. All of it washed away.
Oh, anything was gone within a couple hours.
Oh yeah.
You had to download it, save it, and what got me is a stupid. You couldn't question anything down to the point where they would all say, "Well, there's this study," and I'd go, "Okay, where's the study that shows the 6-foot rule?" Well, where's your medical degree? I just want to see the study that came up with that.
Yeah,
Well,
but
why is each country different? Ours is 6 feet. There's a 6 meter. One country had a 1 meter, 1.5 meter. Every country was different. If there was a real study, then it wouldn't have been different in every country around the world. It was just flat out made up. And, I got so fucking tired of, where's your medical degree? That was their response every time you made a comment. Where's your medical? You know what I'm going to start doing? When these dumbasses make these anti-data center comments, I'm going to say, what's your IT background? I was an operations analyst in a major data center. What's your IT background? Huh? Google? Okay. Googling is not an IT background. So I think that should be my response from now on.
I mean, I went to Harvard.
Harvard.com or no. Harvard.edu.
No, you can go to the Harvard thing and go to the
website.
No, you can go onto the school. They have like a tours that you can tour Harvard.
That is the most complex thing. If you guys ever want to go to Washington, D.C., is tours. A lot of them are timed tours, and you have to get tickets for them.
All right. We'll go over the European Parliament thing. Today, the European Parliament voted 418 to 218 to pass the strictest migration laws in EU history. When the result was announced, MEPs started chanting, "Send them back," inside the Parliament chamber on the floor in 2026. Here's what the law actually does. Deportation orders now apply across all EU member states. You can't evade removal by crossing a border. Sorry about that. Detention before deportation extends from 6 months to 30 months, unlimited for security threats. Return hubs in third countries. Migrants can be transferred outside the EU while awaiting deportation, including families with children. Automatic deportation stays while appeals are pending. Gone. Courts decide case by case. Entry bans double from 5 to 10 years. Lifetime bans for security risk. Currently, only about 20% of the people ordered deported from the EU actually leave. For years, European leaders told voters that open borders and mass migration are non-negotiable. That warning enforcement meant you were a fascist. 418 members of the European Parliament just disagreed. Trump provided his immigration policies were popular even to winning elections. After a wave of right-wing electoral gains across the continent, European is following in his footsteps, and an overturned window is getting kicked off its hinges. So basically, they're kicking people out now. Did you not pay attention to me at all when I was saying that, Bill? Is that reason why you're...
They're kicking people out now.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, Bill?
I think they are pushing. Do they copy our wording sometimes? You know, we're passing the Save America Act. Well, they're trying to push now the Save Europe Act. And the Save Europe Act calls for secure borders and the preservation of Europe's ethnocultural continuity. And here it is, kind of in a nutshell, we, the peoples of Europe, driven by our love and responsibility for our nation's descendants and shared civilization, call upon the European Commission to recognize and protect the inalienable right of Europe's native peoples to preserve their collective identity, heritage, and way of life in accordance with the principles of national sovereignty and self-determination. We call on the European Commission to urgently propose and implement the following legislative and policy measures. Introduce a temporary halt to most new non-Western immigration channels until social cohesion concerns are addressed. Reform the EU's migration and asylum system with stronger border protection, faster processing, and more effective return procedures. Accelerate the return of illegal migrants, rejected asylum seekers, and individuals who threaten public order. Create an EU framework for voluntary and incentivized remigration of non-European migrants who are not integrated. Woo. And 5, reduce migration incentives by limiting access to certain welfare benefits for non-citizens and recent migrants. And then you've got the people here who want to force the welfare recipients to be able to receive funds, our tax dollars. You've got basically a 180 from what's happening in Europe. I've always said what happens in Europe and Canada comes here in about 4 or 5 years. So what's happening is they've gone across that point of being destroyed by the illegal invasion. They've gone to the point where you're getting violent protesters are the people protesting against illegal immigration, unlike here, where you've got the doofuses protesting for the illegals. So if they win, what you see in Europe is about 1.5 Democrat administrations away from where we would be.
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the problem with that. And it's not EU. It is EU. And the major problem that they're having over there, it's rape gangs. And yeah, we don't get monetized, so I can say whatever I want. It is something called rape gangs over in EU and UK. there was a lady just recently that the people, it was a woman in the UK. She had gotten sexually assaulted, and they busted in, sexually assaulted her, and she called them out because she found out who they were, called them out. And guess what? She was arrested. People like that, they need asylum from their own country, and that's the UK. It should be a better branding on them, but I wouldn't touch you. UK, I would consider like a third world country now for reasons, because it's that sad. I mean,
But how many people in our country even know what's going on in the UK?
some people do.
Okay,
Some,
here's you an example of how people don't know what's going on. Let's say sometime in the future, I'm planning on sometime in the future going to Washington, D.C. I was at my in-laws a couple of days ago, and we have taken these driving trips, these 4,000-mile driving trips, where we've gone into foresty areas by ourselves, alone, desolate roads. Who knows what could happen? We had one where we were going to a waterfall. I saw in a book it said, "Oh, it's between these bushes on the other side of this area. The park was closed." We stepped over the gate. We walked past all the empty RV parking spaces. I look down and go, "There's a sign that tells you what kind of snakes are here." Oh, look, that's what to do if you got a bear. Well, we had backpacks. We had Pop-Tarts and a couple of flashlights and a small first aid kit in them and some water. That's what was in our backpacks, our survival backpacks. So we go through there, push it. I mean, it's deserted. It's a park, like a state park or something that hadn't opened yet. And we crawl back behind, and see the beautiful waterfall. No one's around. And now I wouldn't do that, because look at all the crime people who are out camping and stuff and what's going on.
oh,
So
even worse than that. Here's a fun fact that I found out. If they're I don't know if they're doing it anymore, if they got a topper over on it, but Mexican cartels have been using like parks and basically farming marijuana there, and they're using like harsh fertilizer.
our
for-
state and national parks.
Yes.
Well, my point was that here we're doing all that, and my in-laws are like, "Oh, okay, I send out a tweet. The forest is scary in the dark. We didn't even have flashlights, and we got caught in the forest when the sun went down, and we were using the light from our cell phones to go through a path through the trees."
Yeah.
So I'm at my in-laws yesterday, and we're gonna sometime in the future go to Washington, D.C. They basically think we're definitely going to be stabbed or shot.
Not there now.
Exactly. But the last thing my mother-in-law said is, "You guys need to make sure you buy a can of mace with you going to Washington, D.C." And I'm like, I don't think that would go over too well with security. And she said, "Well, I hope there would be security there." They don't watch they don't watch national. They don't watch CNN. They don't watch Fox. They don't watch any of that. They just watch your local Dallas Metroplex news stations. But that shows you how much people don't know. So as
Yeah.
far as they know, it was overrun by the military, and Trump is evil. They have no clue that DC has been cleaned up.
Yeah.
I feel
mean-
safer in DC than I would doing anything we did on those 4,000-mile driving trips.
I mean, look at the UFC fight last Sunday. I mean, they stopped that terrorist attack before it actually happened. There was
And because of Trump, I think it's because of Trump. Did you hear about the divine intervention? You
Is
had
it-
to have played it. You had to have played that on your sports thing.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, you talk. I'll find it.
No, don't even try to find it. I don't want that stuff.
No, it was it may have been Dana White or one of the main sports.
I know what you're talking about. What you're talking about is how everything, and we talked about it on Wednesday and on Monday, is that whole entire area around the fight area, all of around it had thunderstorms. Washington, D.C. didn't. So it was divine intervention, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it wasn't that it didn't. It was kind of like what happens to Wichita Falls when we're supposed to get storms here.
Yeah.
The major storm, and in the video, if you had the video and played it, they said that the military weather people, there was a 100% chance that the storm was going to hit. It got right to the edge of DC, and it split.
Yeah, it happens.
And something I didn't know, what is it called? Is it the ASVAB? The military
ASVAB test, yeah, ASVAB.
That's the military one.
Yeah.
When my stepson was going in, and I looked at his book, and I saw one of the highest score requirements tasks was weatherman, and I was like, a weatherman requires a high. Turns out military weathermen are on the battlefield.
Yeah, what they are, it's called a TACP or JTAC.
Special forces type weather guy. You know.
What it is they're called JTAC compact controllers, and what they are is they're attached to an Army infantry unit, and it goes on up. It could be like special forces, it could be Navy SEALs, it could be Delta, it could be whoever. Anyways, they're attached to those groups. They're still part of the Air Force, but they are assigned to those divisions. It even can be like MARSOC, Marine Raiders, Marine Infantry. Navy has their own stuff, so on certain things, but Air Force has like the creme de la creme. It's the same thing with like TACP. Navy has their own Navy. I think Navy SEALs do that for the Navy, but they have their own division too. But JPs are like the creme de la creme. If you go down, you're gonna have a JP come pick you up, and they're basically the fighting doctors that go into enemy territory. But anyways, yeah, I know what you're talking about on that, Bill. But do you want to do the Medal of Honor guy, or say that to last, or you want to talk about JD Vance and what happened to him this week?
Medal of Honor guy?
Well,
you can do that.
No, because okay. Today on June 18th, President Trump will award the Medal of Honor to retired recon Marine Major James Capers Jr. for his heroism during a 1967 ambush in Vietnam. Major Capers was shot twice and suffered 17 shrapnel wounds and other injuries during the April 1967 ambush. Not only did Capers lead his team to safety, but he twice tried to get out of the helicopter carrying the rest of his teammates so it would be light enough to take off, and had to be pulled back inside by his men. Major Capers is the first Black Marine to lead a reconnaissance company to receive a battlefield commendation. The 1967 ambush began when hidden explosives detonated. Capers suffered shrapnel wounds to his abdomen and other parts of his body, and a broken leg. Despite his wounds, he ordered a mortar strike on the team's position to keep the enemy at bay. Then, even after losing a significant amount of blood and being administered morphine, he led his team to a helicopter landing zone. When a helicopter landed, Capers refused to get on board unless the crew took the body of the teammate's military working dog. Capers was originally awarded the Bronze Star with V for Valor device for his heroism, which was upgraded to a Silver Star in 2010. Now, I hate to say this, he was on the Unsubscribed podcast and Sean Ryan podcast. He was trying to get his stuff, and it should have been upgraded. He got it a Silver Star upgraded then. The only reason why he got a Bronze Star with the Valor, and this is what's really sad, and especially from that time frame, and yes, it was that time frame, is he had a colonel that was a racist, and he didn't get. He was going to be awarded the Medal of Honor, like in 1969, 1970, but because the person that was going to go past the colonel that was a racist, he died in combat. So he just said, whatever, it's just an award, and walked it off. But yeah, this is, let me get the full video, and we'll do this one. Make sure I'm sharing that tab. There we go. But this is all that's happening. He could barely stand. And as of right now, he
the
is.
Pentagon's Hall of Heroes contains the names of the service members in our nation's history who have been awarded the Medal of Honor. Major Capers now joins these illustrious warriors as the 3,534th Medal of Honor recipient to be inducted into the Hall of Heroes.
Yeah. If you could look on the bottom, there's one with Trump holding him up because he's in a wheelchair now. But yeah, that dude, I listened to his story, and it's been like a year ongoing for the campaign to get him the Medal of Honor. I've been listening to his stories constantly, and that dude was he's a man's man. And James, thank you for actually doing your part and being that man's man to live up to, because I can't live up to that. There's certain people that can, and that man's one of them. And I am so happy that they finally got him the Medal of Honor for what he did. Okay, Bill.
That's it.
We got two more things. JD Vance was on The View this week.
Oh,
I like the one thing I like on it, even though Whoopi Goldberg's the only one that called him racist, but everybody else was content and actually didn't really. It was an interview. It was just a regular interview. The only person that was having a hissy fit was Whoopi Goldberg. Everybody else was content and was just asking regular questions. And he's a politician. He's a really good politician. He can swerve his words and work it and answer questions to the best of his ability. But yeah, he was doing his rounds this week for some reason, because he hasn't been really like showboated that much here recently. So, what was it? He was on Gutterfeld, like he was on the 5, Gutterfeld. But he was on those shows all week after the Iran deal. There was one though that he was on, and he was for some reason the interview was like, "Well, you're the guy that built the Iran deal. And JD Vance was like, no, it was Donald Trump. I was just there getting all this stuff done. So, yeah. It's going to be him or Rubio. And I'm perfectly fine with either one of them, really.
Did you see when he filled in as press secretary?
Oh yeah.
Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the president of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path. But to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the president of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the president of the United States needs to wake up and smell.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the wrong clip.
But that was a good clip.
The reality of
Oh, that was
Okay, we'll just forget about that. Well, I'm not going to say the holiday. I'm just saying it's a holiday. Kroger's is in the news. And yeah, this is what Kroger's thought it was a good idea. Watermelon, which I can understand it being summer and everything. Watermelon is more or less sold during the summertime. It's high in value and everything. But what got me was the Juneteenth one and all the watermelon ones. And me and Bill went he was saying, it was like, oh, that's not true. That's a lie. I was like, let's look it up first, Bill, before we, because there's certain news things that when we get on, we find out not to be true and we don't talk about it. But yes, Kroger's facing significant backlash over its Juneteenth themed bakery items, including watermelon cake and poorly decorated cookie cakes. Critics across social media condemn the offering as lazy, insensitive, and a mockery of the hall. We're not even going to say that. The conversation erupted on TikTok. Video went viral, showcasing the problematic threats of Atlanta area Kroger's. Specifically detailing an event surrounding the incident include cakes. The bakery section offered cake cookies with generic and probably applies phrases like "free at last," "congratulations," alongside these watermelon-shaped cakes were also made available. I didn't get to that part. Oh my God, that's hilarious. And it's not like free and the word at, it's like the at symbol. The backlash, the use of watermelon, which carries a painful history of being used as a racial trope, sparked fierce debate. Many customers felt the execution reduction a significant historical milestone to stereotypical and tone-deaf imagery. Kroger issued an official response stemming that the items were inconsistent with their provided guidance and explicit quality. Following the widespread criticism, the grocery chain removed the items from the shelves and addressed the issues directly with the store team.
I really, when you first told me about that, I said, so we're going to read the Babylon Bee on here?
No. Yeah, I thought it was fake too. I was like with you. I was like, that can't be real. But God, it was real, Bill. Oh, man.
Hey, let's go ahead and put up a few second comedy. I found the clip that I was trying to play.
Well, hold on.
Trump said yesterday that he was going to blame you if the talks of Iran go sideways. Are you worried that he's going to make you the fall guy?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the president was joking, but as he often does. But no, I think, look, the entire team has worked very well on this, and we've got this thing to a very good place for the American people. Now, I have seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the vice president of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have a great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place here. We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was the one I was looking for.
Yeah, that was funny. And I've seen that clip. Yes, that was very funny. Thank you for that, Bill. Also, one last tidbit to go off on. Do you feel that it's proper to spend $825 million on a building, Bill?
Not really.
I mean, I found footage of the actual building. I know you sent me a video and I looked at it, and I like this one better. And yes, that is the toilet seat part is not part of the building, but it is the Obama Presidential Library. Now, saying that, yeah, right next to it is the Trump Tower in Chicago, which cost the same amount of money, $825 million. Yes, thank you, Bill. Can you no, go back up. Okay. Can you make that bigger? Okay. Yeah. Right next to it is Trump Tower. And that's the library. One, I have to agree with a lot of podcasters that I've been listening to this week. One, I know it's like one of the benefits of the presidents to have a presidential library. We don't need an extra library. But anyways, Bill, okay, cut it out. Oh, that's funny. Okay, you went on that one. Okay. But yeah, and the design, that design of that building doesn't look $825 million worth. That was just, someone pocketed that money, honestly. Someone put that money in their pocket and is just running free on that.
Well, I mean, the big deal on that. Oh, the big deal on that. Technical difficulties.
I would like to know why they're not getting paid. In what sense is celebrating Juneteenth if our black contractors are not getting their money? So many of our black contractors are complaining about they have not got their money. But the other side of it, a lot of the black community And the newspapers do not know that these people have not been paid. Some of the people have put their mortgages up. They're going to lose their bonding, their rate in their bonding company. They're going to lose their relationship with their supplier, as well as their banker may want to bring in their note. So they're afraid to talk about these things, but they tell me in privacy that these things are taking place with them, and they're scared to death about.
That's
So he stiffened the contractors.
you gotta be
Oh, you hadn't heard that?
no.
Here they're doing this on Juneteenth, and he bragged about hiring all the black contractors for it, and they don't have the money to pay for it. He's way overspent on it.
Well, yeah. If it wasn't for Woodrow Wilson and FDR and Biden, I think he's like the fourth worst president.
Oh, had you seen the Don Jr. had posted it a few months ago, the first drawings of Trump's presidential library?
Oh wow. Where is it going to be at? Is it going to be in New York? Is it going to be in Florida?
Florida.
Okay. Well, at least you can get a better deal on the contractors. Oh, that's funny right there. All right, Bill, let's go ahead and wrap this off. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Hey,
We're out with a bang on this show.
yes, we are. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Wild William.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Love you guys. Now, goodbye.